Earlier when you typed in cat, you got crap. But now with the new model, the cat is smiling in HD. But when your photos are not in HD, you can upscale them. But what is Topaz doing inside of Photoshop? Is this magic? And now when you expand these photos, how is the quality that high? And why is my bank balance so low? Welcome to the age of credits with Photoshop 2026 and beta. Let's go through the top new features super fast and hope they don't come with a price tag. So without any further ado, let's get started. This year the Photoshop logo is thick, which probably means you need to have thicker wallets. Because right now Photoshop has standard features and premium features. Don't worry, standard features include almost everything in Photoshop, and premium features are the ones that involve partner models, at least as of now. Standard features are accessible to all, no matter what plan you're on, while premium features are only accessible to premium plans like Creative Cloud Pro or Firefly plan. Now that I'm done sounding like an unpaid salesman, let's start with what's new in the general release of Photoshop. Nano Banana and Flux are now in the main version of Photoshop. So if we were to select any selection tool and let's say we want to remove these braces. So just a simple selection, right in the contextual taskbar, let's click on Generative Fill, remove the braces. Right here, you'll see the model selector. Let us select Gemini 2.5, which is Nano Banana, and click on Generate. This literally works like magic. I genuinely have no words to say here. Here's the before and here's the after. If you're not able to see the contextual taskbar, simply right-click outside the canvas and click on Show Contextual Taskbar. You can actually hide it the same way. With the same rectangular marquee tool, I'm going to select this time a little extra because sometimes generations can move. Click on Generative Fill and let's change her outfit to a sari. She would look beautiful in that. And generate. There you go. It looks incredible. And when Nano Banana doesn't work, you can also use Flux. In this case, I can click on Generative Fill, choose Flux instead, and remove all reflections from the glasses. And for this particular scenario, Flux does an incredible job. Before, after. Now please note that this is a premium feature and it's going to cost you 10 credits every time you hit Generate with Nano and Flux. Moving on to a non-AI feature, thankfully that does not require credits, is a new adjustment layer. Click on the adjustment layer icon and you'll see something new called Color and Vibrance. And now you have the temperature slider and the tint sliders inside of an adjustment layer. So in this case, let's make it more warmer, give it a very nice color grading. Let's make it slightly more greenish for that color grading look. You can play with the vibrance as well. And just like that, it's a wonderful grade, isn't it? You can also create a curves adjustment layer, one of my favorite things in and outside of Photoshop. Let's just make it darker and give it a faded look. And just with that, here's the overall before and here is the after. Keep in mind the brand new color and vibrance. It was in beta, now it is in the main version of Photoshop. By the way, if you want to download any of the photos or assets to follow along, you know what to do, check the links in the description. Moving on to more good news, the select subject and remove background on device has gotten so much better. Have a look at this. If we were to select the quick selection tool, at the top we have select subject, but this time we are going to choose device and click on select subject. Watch what happens. Everything is happening locally, not on the cloud. And take a look at it. It selected every single stroke. Right behind we have a black background, and if we were to mask it out by clicking on the mask button, take a look. It's not perfect, but damn, this is on some other level. By the way, if you want to permanently set it to device and not send it to the cloud, you can simply go to Photoshop, Settings, Processing, somewhere here, Image Processing, and choose Device in the Preferences. Hit OK. You can also click on Remove Background. That will do the 2 steps automatically, which is making a selection and creating a mask, and it did that so darn fast. Now if we were to compare this with Photoshop 2025, watch what happens. For select subject, we are going to choose device and click on select subject. That's all we get. If we were to mask it out, take a look. That's terrible. Just terrible. Let's talk about Generative Upscale. Here we have a super pixely photo, pixelating all the way. Let's go to Image, Generative Upscale. We have several models to choose from. Right now, let us pick Firefly Upscaler. Let's go 4x, click on Upscale. Do keep in mind there's a limit to it. You cannot just upload a 100 megapixel photo and ask it to do it 4x. Now this process creates a brand new document with the upscaled file on a brand new layer. Let's zoom in. Here's the before, all pixely, no details. Here is the after. Even though the results are a bit softer, it's much closer to how it actually was without many artifacts. Here's the before. Even if you have a look at the hair, here is the after. Much better. Now you also have upscaling models from Topaz too. For that, let's go to Image, Generative Upscale. We are on the same low resolution photo, and this time let's pick Topaz Gigapixel, which preserves the original details. You can check face recovery if you wish to, and let us do 4x here as well. Click on Upscale. With face recovery, it tries to recreate the face, and that may lead to certain changes. Let's see how it does. There you go, it is done. If you take a look at the before and after, here is the before, and here is the after. Looks much cleaner, but also at the same time, quite artificial. Have a look at the hair. What is this weird stuff happening? Before, after, that looks like some artificial net. Now why not compare Topaz with Firefly? Here we have both on separate layers. Let's zoom in. This is the original photo, and here is the Topaz result. It looks a bit artificial, but it's very sharp. And here is the Firefly result. It's very soft, but it's more natural. Now let's talk about creative upscaling. And this kind of upscaling can change detail, although keeping the objects in the same position. In this case as well, we have a very low resolution photo. Let's go to Image, Generative Upscale, and inside of that, this time, let's pick Topaz Bloom for adding creative detail. You can increase or decrease the creativity according to your taste. Let's keep it all the way up like Fat Joe and change the scale to 4x. Upscale. Now it's done, and as you can see, Bloom is not really made for images like this. It entirely changed the detail, although it did upscale. Here's the before, very less detail. Here's the after, entirely different details. Now you know what Bloom is really great for? Where it doesn't matter if the details stay exactly the same. So here's an image that I created with Nano Banana. As you can see, there is very less detail in the chain, in the Photoshop locket, people in the background. I applied Topaz Bloom, and this is what it generated. Here is the after. Way more detailed, although it's not the same thing, but it maintained the essence. Before, after. Take a look at it. Even in the locket, it changed the design, but it's way more detailed. Before, after. Let's take a look at the people in the background. Before, after. But sometimes it can do some misses. For example, the hand was more accurate before, although it's more sharper in the after. It's just weird. Now, of course, all of this upscaling doesn't come free, and the amount of credit it takes kinda is very complicated to calculate. So here's a chart for your simplicity. Keep in mind, the credit amount depends on the output resolution, not the resolution that you started with. One of my favorite features in beta is now in the main version of Photoshop, and this works like magic. First of all, here we have a room. On top of that, we have a statue. Not matching at all. Let's click on Remove Background for that particular statue. Automatically done. And then Control or Command T, adjust it anywhere in the room. I'm gonna make it slightly smaller, place it right there. Not matching yet. And then click on Harmonize. Brand new button inside of the main version of Photoshop 2026. And it automatically does all the magic behind the scenes to perfectly match it to the room. Here is the before. Here's the after. It's like it's in the room, and it does give you 3 options. First, second, third. Whatever matches the best, go with that. Similarly, let's take a look at another example. Completely lighting not matching. Here's the beach with sunlight. Here's a very soft light. Click on Remove Background and then click on Harmonize. Now, if you want to watch a complete video on Harmonize, I made that way back when it was in Photoshop beta. This is genius. Let's have a look at the result. Here is the before, not matching at all, and here is the after. It created the sunlight in the exact same direction and even the shadows around it. Now, although Harmonize is not a premium feature, it is a standard feature, but it costs 5 credits every time you hit the generate button. Moving on to AI Denoise, you also have brand new models to denoise photos from Topaz. So here is a very noisy photo. Before doing anything, let's go to Filter, Convert for Smart Filter so that it's non-destructive. Now let's go to Filter, AI Denoise. This is by Topaz, as you can see, and click on Denoise. It's 2026, and unfortunately the only models that I'm living with in my life are AI ones. And lo and behold, it has done an amazing denoising. Here is the before, here's the after. How amazing, isn't it? It has denoised whole entire area and very purposefully left out all of the other areas. If you didn't get the sarcasm, this is crap. And you know what's crazier? If I were to make a copy of the background layer by pressing Ctrl or Command J, let's take it at the very top and actually use Topaz like the real Topaz application. Let's go to Filter, Convert for Smart Filters again. Filter, I already have Topaz Photo AI that I purchased earlier. And let's look at the denoise of Topaz in Topaz versus Topaz in Photoshop. Add enhancement, denoise. And I'm not gonna do any changes, and have a look at this particular denoise. night and day difference. I don't even know what to say. And this, my friend, is a premium feature on top of that and consumes 10 to 20 credits. Moving on to the next feature, AI Sharpen. I wish I had a day go by without using the word AI. Anyway, as you can see, this photo has very less detail and it's slightly blurred. Let's add some sharpening. Here I've already made a copy. Let's go to Filter, AI Sharpen. This is also by Topaz. It's also a premium feature. Click on Sharpen. Now I would say this did a pretty amazing job. Here is the overall before. As you can see, very less detail. And here is the after. If you have a look at the eyes, before, after. Better than before. Although I'm not very happy with how it handled the hair. It always makes it net-like. And the worst part is there's not even a slider to reduce the value if I needed less sharpening to reduce the effect right there. As I already shared with you, this also is a premium feature and consumes between 10 to 20 credits. Finally, moving on to one free feature, and that is adding free stock photos. You can click here in the toolbar and click on Add Free Adobe Stock Images. Alternatively, you can go to File, Place Free Adobe Stock Images. There's also another way. If you were to create a brand new blank document like so, you would notice in the contextual taskbar as well, add free stock photos. Let's go back to this one, and from the toolbar, let's click here, Add Free Stock Images. A brand new dialog box will show up. You can search for anything you want. Isolated puppy. Let us go with this one, select that, click on Add. Let's make it bigger, hit Enter or Return. Remove background, and then you can place it wherever you want. Control or Command T, right click on it, flip horizontal. Let's make the puppy smaller and place the puppy right there. Make her a bit happy, and then click on Harmonize to match it with that of the current surroundings. Finally, it's done. First, second, third. You can go with either one of those, and here it is done. Now let's switch gears to Photoshop Beta and see what's new. This is version 27.1. If you don't have Photoshop Beta, you can easily install it from your Creative Cloud desktop app. Just go to Apps, Beta at the top, and from here, install Photoshop Beta. To kick things off, you have a brand new Generative Fill and Expand model, which does higher detail in 2K at max, and also generates animals and humans with far more realism. Here we have a selection. Click on Generative Fill, and this time, click here and pick the brand new Firefly Fill and Expand. Brand new model, and type in tiger posing with her and click on Generate. Look at how awesome this is. Here's first, second, and third. Now I generated a few times to give you a comparison between this model and previous models. Here is model 1. This is insanely bad. As you can see, this is model 1 right there. Not even a tiger, I don't know what's happening. Model 3 also came along in between, and this is Model 3. The tiger is more scared than a wet cat. But it's a cat anyway. The point is, look at the evolution here. Crazy. Now, because of the bump in resolution, Generative Expand has also become so much better. So let's press C for the crop tool, and here I have chosen Square. Let's expand it like so. And here we are going to choose Generative Expand. And for the model, let us pick the latest model, Fill and Expand, and simply click on Generate. Let's have a look at the details of the railing. This is so darn good. Even if you zoom in a lot, take a look. You cannot tell where the generation starts. Here is the before. See, here's the after. All that generation, even if you zoom in too much, it's hard to tell. You have to really zoom in a lot, and then you can say this is where the generation is. With this brand new model, you also have a lot of improvements to reference photos. Let's say I have selected this area and I want to place a specific thing here. Let's click on Generative Fill. You want to make sure it is the latest model, and then click on this button for the reference image. Click on Choose Image, and I'm going to select this particular statue. Click on Open. Now you can choose whether you want to just reference the statue or the entire image. Click on Object, that way the background is removed. Now, we want to place it or swap it. It gives you the option for it. In this case, I want to place this object, and then simply click on Generate. It should automatically match the color and the lighting and the shadows and everything. And have a look at it. This looks so darn good. All of these results. I think I should have taken care of this area. Not a big deal. We can select the mask, take the brush, and with black as the foreground color, just erase this little area, and this should be good to go. Now I would do a couple tries, but if you were to compare this with the original, the lighting here was entirely different. Although it changes the face slightly, it places a very similar object that matches with the surrounding. Similarly, you can swap things as well instead of placing something. Here in this case, I'm going to swap this jar with a plant. Click on Generative Fill, click on the reference image, choose image. Here we have a plant, select that, click on Open. It automatically removes the background. I want to swap it and click on Generate. And there you go, it swaps it for the plant. And it looks pretty darn good. Now, anytime you use this Firefly model, keep in mind this is a standard feature and uses 1 credit every time you hit the Generate button. Last but not the least, here's my favorite feature. A couple years ago, it was only a dream to remove stuff from complex backgrounds. But right now, with the brand new improved Remove tool, it has gotten even better. If you select the Remove tool, you'll notice at the top, if you turn on Generative AI, by the way, which doesn't use credits, you have a brand new model called the Remove Tool 3. Let's select that, and keep in mind, as of now, if you're using the Remove button inside of the contextual taskbar, so if I show you the contextual taskbar, and here if we make a selection around this person, if I click on Remove, it's going to use Model 2, not the third one. So for right now, if you want to use Model 3, select the Remove tool. You want to make sure Model 3 is selected, and you have to paint and brush to use the latest model. In this case, let's create a brand new layer. We want to make sure Sample All Layers is checked. I'm turning off Remove After each stroke. And let's quickly remove everyone in the background by simply looping around them. Once done, simply hit Enter or Return. And as you can see right here, it does tell you removing may use Generative AI, but does not use generative credits. And there you go. This is such a good result. But actually, how good is it? There has to be some sort of comparison, right? So here I've done once with Model 2 and once with Model 3 and saved snapshots for each of them. This is Model 2 and this is Model 3. Let us take a look at it closely. If we were to look at this area, here is Model 2. It leaves out this area, weird things. Here is Model 3. It does it perfectly. Secondly, let's take a look at the stairs. Here's Model 2. It didn't finish it properly. Here's Model 3. This is more accurate. Now let's take a look at these railings. Here is Model 3. Now, although it left out that area, here is Model 2. It left out the entire thing. So you can see clear improvements between Model 2 and Model 3. Now you might be wondering, where are we going with all this? What's going to happen in the future? Here are a couple of things that I think is going to come to Photoshop very soon, or at least in the near future, because it's already in Firefly. AI editing is going crazy. Adobe has made their own version of Nano Banana. If you go to firefly.adobe.com and click on Edit an Image, let us drag and drop this particular photo. And if you click on the drop down right here, besides Gemini, you also have Firefly Image 5. And let's say you just want to remove reflections from the glasses. Hit Generate, see what it does. Right now it shows it uses 0 credits, but that's only for now at the time of recording this video. It will not forever use 0. Here's the before and here's the after, all at one go. Now Adobe's own article shows the resolution of this. If I scroll down, have a look. This says it is 4 megapixels, which is higher than Nano Banana. But is it overall better? That needs to be tested. If you're interested, we can do a video about it. The second thing that's definitely coming to Photoshop is AI assistance. You can tell it to organize the layers and it organizes the layers. You can tell it to mask an area and it masks an area automatically. And it was shown as a demo in Adobe Max 2025. And I suspect it's only going to get better and get into the actual desktop version of Photoshop. Now I get that processing in the cloud takes resources and credits. It does for every system. However, the credit system with Adobe is more complicated than Einstein's theory of relativity. There's standard credits, premium credits, there's standard features, premium features, and then there are 1,000 different plans with 1,000 different ways of getting credits, and then there are add-ons. Oh my gosh, my brain can explode with this. While features are starting to consume credits, it only makes sense to have a credit counter inside of Photoshop that tells you how many credits you have and how many credits you have left. And then there isn't one place to look how much credit each feature is going to consume. For example, this page does not have any information about how much Harmonize is going to use. It has information about Generative Upscale, it has information about AI Sharpen, and even then, it says varies, no clear information. Then I have to find out another page about just Harmonize, scroll somewhere, and here it says it's a standard feature and it uses 5 credits. You really have to find separate pages to figure out how much credits each feature is consuming accurately. And finally, the credit system can change. What you think you have today, you may not have tomorrow. They keep changing this page. Let us take a look at this FAQ page. If you scroll all the way down, you will notice that this page has been changed so many times. Once in October, once in September, once in August, once in June. It's like airline miles. Doesn't matter if you have a gazillion miles, the airline decides what a gazillion miles mean. And finally, I'm a bit upset that we don't have as much offline access. For some features like upscaling, Topaz as a software showed that it can be done offline. Why not also give an offline option for all of these features so that it doesn't use credits? Like Photoshop did an incredible work with on-device select subject. Why not the same for upscaling and many other features? I truly have to applaud the Photoshop team for the incredible things that they have done. They have made Photoshop truly amazing. But the credit system? Not too sure about that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to give us a like, and also don't forget to subscribe, and not just subscribe. Ring the bell so that you, my friend, don't miss any other feature tips, tricks, or tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Till then, stay tuned and make sure that you keep creating.